Hey everybody, Wave 3 News Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with a Hokey video blog update for Sunday morning, one that's been fairly showery so far. Let's talk about today's Hokey weather fact first. Alright, thunderstorms on the west coast, not as prevalent as the east coast. Why is that? Well, it has to do with ocean temperatures. The east coast, the Atlantic, very warm ocean temperatures thanks to the Gulf Stream. It brings up water from the Caribbean and puts it all across the east coast, whereas the west coast, a lot cooler temperatures of the ocean there because we have more of a northern current, and that tracks down from Alaska down toward the entire west coast. That's why you don't really go swimming in the Pacific all that much, especially around northern California and north of there, really. And so, when you have those lower temperatures, that is not able to help fuel those thunderstorms that develop because they're very heat-driven. So now you know that from today's Hokey weather fact. Hey, spring's almost here. Only 6 days until astronomical spring. We've got meteorological spring already underway. All right, kind of a gloomy look to things now from our Kentucky One Health SkyTrack network of cameras. That looks like fog or clouds. It's actually steam coming out of the exhaust vents there at Jewish Hospital right now. Otherwise, it is a little showery out there. We've got temperatures in the 50s and the 60s area-wide. Outside the city, mostly in the 50s at this time. Those showers becoming a little more scattered as we go throughout the morning. We've got some additional development in there in southern Indiana between Bedford and Corydon at this time. Down to the south we go, and that's where we find kind of a clear slot as you work your way south into the Bowling Green area, southward into Nashville at this time. So those folks down there experiencing the drier weather, and we're going to be seeing that as well throughout the late morning and the early afternoon. Here's the culprit for all this. Area of low pressure that's very weak. This was the cutoff low that was over Mexico, but thanks to something that's called the beta effect, as low pressure curves north like that, it dies out. So that's pretty much what we're seeing. It's this wave of energy that did have some gusto earlier, but now it's pretty much fading away. Out to our west is a more organized, compact area of low pressure near the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. That will be the culprit for our Monday rain and thunderstorm maker, one that greets us as we go throughout the early two-thirds of that day. All right, so here's what it looks like today on Futurecast. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh model, the HRRR as we call it. A couple of those showers lingering by 9 a.m. here in about 45 minutes from this recording. Looks like a pretty good forecast. It's got that dry slot in there. Something I'm not too trusting on right now, though, is the fact that it develops these scattered showers and thunderstorms already by noontime. Not sure if the atmosphere is going to have enough time to recover to do that yet. This may wait till 2 or 3 o'clock to happen. Kind of like yesterday when we were crossing our fingers that we wouldn't have any thunderstorms for the parade. That indeed happened, thank goodness, and they waited until 4 or 5 o'clock to get going to our south, and they moved northward from there. That may be a very similar setup to today, especially because we have the morning rainfall to help stabilize the atmosphere somewhat. It's trying to form this broken line of storms by 2 o'clock. I think that may be a little bit of a fantasy at this point, more of a scattered storm situation, maybe a little later than this. That'll allow temperatures to get up to about 72 here in the city if this waits. If it doesn't, then we would only see 70, and that's it. So we get back down to the 60s tonight. After dinner, we're mostly dry. A mostly dry overnight period as well until we hit Monday morning during the commute, especially in our western counties. By noontime, just about all of us seeing some sort of rain off and on. And then by the late afternoon, we still see some additional scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, before we finally begin to dry out Monday night. That's going to set us up for a nice Tuesday. 80 degrees for the high temperature, maybe a few thunderstorms late. We'll have to talk about that here in a second. I want to touch on Monday in just a little more detail here, give you a better idea of those rain chances, mainly in the morning, around midday, then they fade thereafter. Now, as we head throughout Monday evening, we're going to be at Kroger there. Kroger, and of course, or Kevin, I should say, and the Midland Weather Radio folks will be out there programming weather radios from 5 to 7:30. That's the McMahon Plaza Kroger near Hikes Point. So as we head throughout our Tuesday, so we're going to be at 80 degrees. It's going to be very nice out there. We're going to have mostly clear skies, mostly sunny skies. So you'll want to come out to the Wave 3 News Weather Town Hall once you're done playing outside in the nice weather, because we'll be doing this starting at 5 p.m. You can come in anytime between 5 and 7, roam around at some of the partner tables that'll be set up there. Then at 7 p.m. on the nose, we're going to start our team question and answer session. All 6 of us from the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking team will be answering your weather questions. You can ask them live there or on Twitter, hashtag Wave3Weather. Our moderator will be keeping track of that and asking those questions if they haven't been asked yet. We'll also be live streaming this on wave3.com, and you'll see hits from us on Wave 3 News, as well as live weather broadcasts right on stage there on Wave 3 News. You get to see how we get to do it. It's pretty cool. Free parking as well. Can't beat that, right? So let's talk about this Tuesday night storm setup. So it's the same setup that we talked about yesterday. Storms are going to be trying to develop south of Indianapolis, all right? We're going to be fighting what's called encapping inversion, basically warm air aloft that's keeping the thunderstorms from developing, because you need cool air aloft for the warm air at the surface to really rise up and become buoyant. So we've got the capping that's an issue, but regardless, we're going to have some wind and certainly some instability to work with, not only at the surface, but here aloft as well. So if we can get the thunderstorms to go in sort of a broken line, then we may have a problem here with severe weather. And it may be just some damaging winds in southern Indiana that we see, and the rest of us more of a strong storm chance, not a severe weather chance. We'll keep an eye on this. This is still about as clear as mud right now. I think by tonight we'll have a better idea, and certainly by tomorrow I think we'll have a pretty pinpointed forecast on this. Let's get through today and tomorrow first, because that can always throw off the atmosphere and make the models suddenly change their mind on things. But just keep in the back of your head, Tuesday night, they have some thunderstorms. They could get a little rowdy in southern Indiana. It's not going to be a huge deal, though. 60s on Wednesday, 60s on Thursday. Yeah, 50s. Yikes, that's back on Friday and Saturday. Lows in the upper 30s. Maybe lows near freezing outside the city. No thanks. Isn't it springtime yet, Ryan? Yeah, it is, but we do have that in the spring. 40s and 50s even for like the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd. Got a system moving through here that may try to spike temperatures back in the 60s on the 24th. Then we're back in the 60s by the 26th. This 40s and 50s pattern is not going to be permanent. I think this is just kind of a week-long off week, as you call it here. And we may very well see temperatures back in the 60s and 70s as we start April. All right, that's it for my weather sermon for this Sunday morning. Hope everybody has a great Sunday out there. I'm back on Wave 3 News at 6 and 11. Tonight, we'll talk about that storm chance on Tuesday and Mondays as well. And we'll have the latest on what that may bring. All right, that's it for now. Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. We'll see you then.